shit, yeah, they bread stank. Walk up in the club, dripping like I'm fresh paint. I can see through the facade like
What's going on, fight fans? It's another great day when you love MMA. Welcome back to Matty Fight Talk. We got another big fight card going down this weekend, April 15th. It's going down UFC Fight Night from the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, Missouri. Another live event. We got back-to-back live events. This one's free on ESPN Plus. Well, if you have ESPN Plus, the fights will be free. You don't need to pay for the pay-per-view. But we got a treat in number 2, Max Holloway. Number 2 ranked Max Holloway taking on number 4 ranked Arnold Allen in the featherweight division. This is going to be a barn burner of a fight. I really can't wait for this matchup because you got a heavy hitter in Arnold Allen who's been just going on an absolute run to show that he is one of the best fighters coming out of the UK, taking on a guy who is well-established, nasty boxing, really solid jiu-jitsu. Man, this is going to be one hell of a fight. Max Holloway's 23-7 right now, 10 KOs, 2 submissions. Arnold Allen is 19-1 with 7 KOs and 4 submissions. Now, Max Holloway, he's had a little bit of a problem taking on the champ Alexander Volkanovski. Max is 2-3 in his last 5 fights. 3 of those losses are to Volkanovski. Most of those losses are coming title fights. I believe he lost to Dustin Poirier as well. And I'm not sure about the other one. But yeah, I know that for sure the last 3 losses have come to Volkanovski. Now, the last fight with Volkanovski, that was a landslide victory. Volkanovski showed that he was levels above, made definite improvements, and finally separated himself from Max. Because the 2 fights before that, the first fight was extremely close. The second fight, I believe Max won. So there's no knock on him, man. And he's taking on a guy who put on a hell of a show against Islam Makhachev. There's no drop in your stock when it comes to that kind of stuff. You're fighting one of the best fighters there ever was in that division. 2 of the greats, and he just has one step ahead of you. So no knock on Max for that. Now, Max has been in the UFC since 2012. This guy is a freaking veteran of the sport. He's seen it all. He's fought them all. And this is going to be a big test for Arnold Allen. I mean, Max Holloway, in between fighting Volkanovski, had a great fight with Yair Rodriguez, who is potentially going to be fighting Volkanovski for the belt, coming off of a good victory over Josh Emmett. But he lost to Max Holloway right before that. So that shows how good Max really is still in that division. Now we move over to Arnold Allen. Like I said, he has a 19-1 record. Damn, almost spotless. Just beautiful the way he does things. He's on a 12-fight win streak right now. Last 2 wins are by KO over Calvin Kattar and Dan Hooker. He just put an absolute thromping on these guys, man, especially the Dan Hooker fight. He gave Hooker absolutely no chance. So with that kind of fight that he brings, the power and the combinations and the grit, and he just bites down and throws, this is going to make for one hell of a fight with Max Holloway. He also has wins over Gilbert Melendez, Sadiq Yusuff. He's fought the who's who in the division, and he's proved himself. He's earned his rank, and he has earned this fight. I am super excited for this matchup. Now, the significant strikes per minute is 7.24 for Max Holloway and 3.4 for Arnold Allen, landing at a 47% accuracy rate for Max Holloway and a 42% accuracy rate for Arnold Allen. Now, Arnold Allen does throw a little bit more takedowns in there during a 15-minute span. He's 1.35, whereas Max, you know, he likes to stand and bang. Max takedown defense is 84%, where Arnold Allen's is 76%. Let's be real, all right? This is going to be a stand-up fight. This is going to be one of those fights where these guys are going to trade, and they're going to trade hard. It's either going to be a tick-for-tack matchup, or it's going to be Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar all over again. The question is, can Arnold Allen land his punches against a guy with really slick boxing like Max Holloway? Or is Max going to pick him apart? Can Arnold Allen drop the hammer and hurt Max? Or is Max just going to stand in the pocket and trade with him and scream at the booth that he's the best boxer ever? For me personally, I got Max winning a 4th round TKO over Arnold Allen. I think the first couple rounds, it's going to be hard for Allen to find his range. Max is so slick with his boxing and his defense that it's going to put Allen in a bad position, and he's going to start getting teed off on. We've seen how Max Holloway fights. He's one of those guys, man. He picks up the pace and throws punches and bunches. I just think Arnold Allen isn't ready for a guy like Max Holloway yet, and we're going to find out on Saturday why Max Holloway is still ranked number 2. I got Max Holloway winning this fight, 4th round TKO, lock that bad boy in. Now we move further down the fight card. We got number 14, Edson Barboza, taking on Billy Quarantillo. This is going to be a good fight as well. I mean, Barboza is a legend. He has had some crazy knockouts, but he's been on somewhat of a decline. I mean, I haven't been impressed with the latter end of his career. Barboza right now is 22-11, 13 knockouts, 7 first-round finishes. Billy Quarantillo, 17-4, 8 KOs, 5 submissions. He's 6-2 in the UFC since 2019. So Billy's been doing some work since 2019, and he last defeated Alexander Hernandez by knockout. So Billy Quarantillo is looking for a big win over a big name right here. Now Edson Barboza, he's 3-7 in his last 10. He's been in the UFC since 2010. This guy's been fighting in the UFC for like 12, 13 years now. His last 2 fights, lost to Bryce Mitchell and Giga Chikadze in some really good fights. But man, I mean, we're seeing the decline of Edson Barboza. He doesn't have the same pop that he used to. He's been through some real crazy wars. I just see the wear and tear finally starting to catch up with him. So I got Billy Quarantillo winning this fight. I think he's going to submit Barboza. I think this fight goes to the ground, and Barboza's going to get finished in round 3. Because Barboza still has good stand-up, man. He's not an easy guy to just take down and pick on. But if Billy starts landing and he can mix in the shots, I think once this fight touches the ground, Billy Quarantillo is going to have the edge, and I think he gets the job done. 3rd round submission. We're going to see finishes on this card. We move a little bit further down the fight card. We got number 13, Dustin Jacoby, taking on number 15, Azamat Murzakanov. This is one hell of a matchup. Probably going to end up being fight of the night in my book. Dustin Jacoby's 18-6-1. He has 11 KOs and 11 first-round finishes. That's a freaking good, notch in the belt to have as an MMA fighter. Then you got Murzakanov, 12-0, 8 KOs, 8 first-round finishes. These guys have a combined 19 first-round finishes together. That makes for one hell of a fight. Dustin Jacoby, he's 8-1-1 in his last 10. This guy has been on a freaking run. He last lost to Khalil Roundtree in a split decision loss. So a tough fight. Didn't quite get the edge in that one. But like I said, dude, he's 8-1-1 in his last 10 fights. So that's a hell of a record to have. Then you got Murzakanov. This dude's last 4 wins were by KO. He's 3-0 in the UFC. All wins are by knockout. Last defeated Devin Clark, really tough wrestling style guy. Defeated him by a 3rd round knockout. Man, this is a tough fight to pick because both of these guys average very short fight times. You got 11 minutes and 8 seconds for Jacoby, 8 minutes and 21 seconds for Murzakanov. And if we're judging it off of how quick these guys end fights and all the statistics combined, I got Murzakanov winning this fight, man. He takes less damage. He lands bigger punches. And I just have faith in the hands, man. I think this is going to be a 2nd round knockout. These guys are going to come out. It might be a little bit of a feeling out process. Once they get the range, though, I think they're going to start trading heavy. Now, if Dustin Jacoby turns this into a wrestling match or a grappling match and can keep Murzakanov from landing bombs on him, it's going to be a tough fight. But I just see Azamat winning this fight, continuing his unbeaten streak. I mean, this is going to be one crazy-ass fight I'm really excited for. Lock that one in. That's going to be probably fight of the night. We're going to move a little bit further down the fight card. You got Tanner Boser taking on Ion Cutelaba. Tanner Boser's 29-1. Ion Cutelaba's 16-9-1. Both of these guys are coming off of losses, so you know they're going to be hungry to try and get a victory. Man, this is a pretty good matchup here with very equal stats. I mean, these guys barely take any damage standing up, but Ion Cutelaba definitely has the edge in the grappling department. So if Tanner Boser doesn't, keep this fight standing, I don't see how he can win this battle. Cutelaba hits hard, but he's turned himself into a really good wrestler. I'm going to go with Ion Cutelaba winning this fight. I think it's going to be a 3-round decision. These guys are probably going to have a grinding war. But if Boser can touch his chin, he might put the lights out. I still got Cutelaba winning this fight. Then we move a little bit further down. We got number 9 ranked Pedro Munoz taking on number 13 Chris Gutierrez. Man, this is one good bantamweight matchup between 2 really talented fighters. You got Pedro Munoz, 19-7. He's 5 KOs, 8 submissions, 8 first-round finishes in his career. But right now, he's been on a little bit of a struggling streak here in the UFC. His last 10 fights, he's 4-5-1. Not really the greatest record, but he can definitely bounce back. I mean, that guy has a highlight reel like no other. His last fight was a no contest to Sean O'Malley in July of 2022. I mean, Pedro's has been fighting the UFC since 2014. So this guy's a veteran, been around, fought really top-notch talent, has some really solid knockouts. Then you move over to Chris Gutierrez, 19-3-2. This guy's got 9 kills, 8 decision victories under his belt, 4 first-round wins. So there's a lot going on for Chris Gutierrez. He's coming off of a highlight reel knockout victory over Frankie Edgar, where he caught him with a flying knee and ended the career of that veteran. Now, Chris Gutierrez, on the other hand, he's 8-1-1 in his last 10 fights. Last 2 victories are by way of KO. So Chris Gutierrez, man, he gets after it. This guy's a monster. Now, these guys both also average very short fight times. Pedro Munoz, 10 minutes and 41 seconds. Gutierrez, 11 minutes and 28 seconds. And it looks like Chris Gutierrez has a little bit of an advantage here in strikes absorbed. Pedro Munoz is averaging almost 6 strikes a minute, where Gutierrez is averaging 2.58 where absorbs per minute. So it's the strikes that these guys are taking. Now, 6 strikes a minute, that's a lot. Chris Gutierrez has been on a run. He's been doing some serious damage, and he's definitely fine-tuned his striking. He's going to be the bigger fighter in this matchup. A little bit edge in the reach department. I'm going to take Chris Gutierrez winning this fight. I'm going to take him winning by knockout. Judging off of the fact that Pedro Munoz, fought Sean O'Malley, and he didn't really show up in that fight. I mean, it was a good matchup, but not a lot going on. I just don't think he's going to be able to handle a dangerous guy like Gutierrez, who's young, hungry, and has heavy-ass hands and very diverse striking. I think Chris Gutierrez gets the job done. I'm going to take him in a second-round knockout over Pedro Munoz. Now, Pedro Munoz is a grinder, so that's kind of a wild pick for me there, but I just think Gutierrez definitely has the flashy striking to put the lights out. Then we move down to the main card opener. We got the legend himself, Clay the Carpenter Guida, 41 years young, stepping in there against Rafa Garcia. Now, this is going to be a crazy matchup because Clay Guida is so old and still competing with these young guys on the highest level and doing it, man. This guy's winning at an old age. He's making these young guys look like rookies. You got Clay Guida, 38-19. What wild record. 6 knockouts, 15 submissions. He is 5-5 in his last 10, but you got to give the man credit, dude. He's been fighting in the UFC forever. Now, Clay Guida has one thing on his resume here that isn't really the greatest stat. He's been submitted 9 times in his career. I mean, he did last defeat Scott Holtzman in a split decision victory, but he has been submitted like 9 times throughout his career. So, I mean, if you get into a grappling exchange, you might be able to put the lights out. Rafa Garcia, on the other hand, 15-3, 1 KO and 8 submissions. So we're talking about a guy who likes to grapple here against a guy who gets submitted quite frequently throughout his career. Now, Rafa Garcia is 3-3 in the UFC with 6 first-round finishes. Man, this is a really tough fight to pick here because both of these guys like to grapple, and both of these guys are going to be shooting for takedowns. There's going to be a lot of grappling exchanges going on here. Now, the question here is the jiu-jitsu of Garcia going to nullify the wrestling and the ground and pound of Clay Guida. Clay Guida is a little bit older, but man, that wrestling, that thing's something that lasts forever in fighting. I think Clay Guida is going to get the job done. I think it's going to be a split decision victory. I think Garcia is going to get taken down, and he's going to be trying to throw up submissions, but he's not going to be able to get off his back. I think Guida is going to end up winning this fight. 3-round split decision. You can lock that bad boy in. Like always, guys, thanks for checking out my videos. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified when I drop more content. Like this video, subscribe to my channel. I will be dropping more shorts on my channel, quick predictions, stuff like that. Let you guys know what's up. Just a quicker way to talking to my people, my fight fans. So anyway, thanks for all the love and support, guys. I'll see you guys on the next video.
Haters talking shit, yeah, they breath stank. Walk up in the club dripping like I'm fresh paint. I can see through the facade like an